everyone's like, wait, what? The entire building, the entire staff agrees with this. We just don't do anything. Like, this doesn't seem right. I don't think this is what God wants for us. And we learn from the Jews in the history, when they don't obey God, God lets them and turns them into someone else, and they get into slavery, and terrible things happen, right? So how we got to this point, really, it's the church just didn't do its job. That's just the reality. It's critical times. We just gotta be straightforward. The church didn't do its job, right? That's the reality. Parents, some did know him, some didn't know it, but the reality is, just parents didn't do their job. Period. Now we have these kids with that. It's not the phones. It's not that. Because I see parents. I work part time in Best Buy on the weekends, and I gotta tell you, these parents don't care. I'm like, ma'am, that tablet you're gonna want to get to your 3-4 year old kid has no filter in YouTube, a typo, and she's gonna be seeing terrible things. Parents have told me that. Even YouTube kids, they think it doesn't work. They're like, no, but there's one with filter, preloaded stuff for children to protect them. They're like, well, can they see this show in there? No, ma'am, they cannot. No, they give me the other one. I was like, what? You're just gonna expose them? They're not raising them. Okay, so it's that behavior is still. They're not raising them. They're just, and I see it in restaurants. They're talking to a friend. They're little babies with a tablet. So we see that behavior, but we don't do anything about it. We don't want to talk about it. But then when we see the results of what we have planted in those children, we don't like it, because we don't want those kids to run the country. Which you can see those crazy Congress people already talking about it with all these crazy ideas. Take your guns away. I mean, I'm like, dude, go to my country. There's no way. There's no guns. There's no way to defend yourself against a corrupt government. Not even an initiative. So that's how we got in here. That's the reality. And we're still doing that. We're still doing that. So we weren't obedient to God. Jesus said, bring the children to me. We didn't bring the children to him. We focused too much on work, focused too much on our life, our problems, whatever it was. But these generations just don't know God. Because if they knew God, once you fall in love with Jesus, you can just go back. And responsibility. What we did is the church went to sleep. Their responsibility, we gave it to someone else. And the enemy is not sleeping. It's not just waiting. He was already there. He saw us going to sleep. And you can see this in church history. This happened even before. So this is not a new thing. It happened before, and terrible things happen. There's a lot of blood that needs to be shed in order to restore the freedom and to fight for the freedom of preaching the gospel, preaching God. You can go. I can't go to a public school and say, "Can I talk to the kids about Jesus?" You can't. You can't do that. That's ridiculous. You can go to Asia and say, "You know what? I want to talk about Buddha." They're fine. Talk about Buddha. What do you want to talk about Buddha? We're the only country that condemn our own foundation. I believe this country was founded in Christian values. That's why it turned out to be so great. That's why a lot of people want to come here. So the why is sin. We got into a comfort zone, and I believe the church felt just like the Jews into a religion status. Religion and not relationship. Right? I've seen it. If you go to a church, you don't do things how they do it, they start looking at you, why are you not doing it the way we're doing it? I think that's religion. I don't see much of God's grace when someone's doing something different. They don't stand up to read the Bible, simple or different types of music. It's religion. We taught that to our children. That's why they hate it so much. I talk to them, even my young coworkers. It's religion. They're angry towards religion. It doesn't connect with reality. So I see the Jews as an example over and over. What it took for them, God had to grab the obedient, and then years pass about, we can't tell God to, you know what? No consequences. God, take the consequences away. The consequences are here, right? So we're under God's grace, but He's never says in His Word He's going to take away the consequences. Same thing for marriage, our children, our friends, there's consequences for our sin. He's forgiven us, cool, but there's consequences. And we see it in the news, and it's terrible things, terrible things. And now, I've seen this in the church, in other groups. I think how Jesus did it is the way to do it. It just connects with my reality and how other people have done it with me. You can have both, the best of both worlds. Yes, it's good to do rallies, it's good to get people together, but I believe if you can convince someone in 30 minutes, tomorrow someone can convince them of the opposite. When someone asks me, are you a conservative? I'm a Christian. Therefore, yes, I'm conservative, but yes, I'm a Christian. Why I point out to Jesus back? Because I don't remember the presidents, but Pastor mentioned something very interesting. And the enemy can do this. That's why I point myself Christian. Yes, I'm a conservative. I believe in all that, but I'm a Christian. I believe conservative values come from Christianity. It's what Jesus taught. I believe the enemy can be smart enough to hide under our red colors one day. Mm-hmm. Happened before the other day. Like I said, I don't remember the presence, but it happened. You can hide under red colors, and if people are not educated, and what I mean by educated, to know the relationship with God, they can just be, he's just gonna disguise, and you're gonna be, what's the word? Engañado?
Manipulated.
Yeah, manipulated. That's a good word, manipulated. So that's why I point out myself as Christian first. Now, how the enemy did it, I'm going to read you a manifesto, just very little.
The Communist Manifesto. Yeah, we're following that.
No, I'm not going to read that one.
No, we got that one. The Democrats follow that.
Fell in that hole completely.
Mm-hmm.
Hook, line, and sinker.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have like a ton of stuff.
If you look at it, that's exactly what they're following. I discussed that everything yesterday.
Probably close then. Anyway, this manifesto was from 1987. It tells, it's the Homosexual Manifesto. It's online, you can download it, just Google Homosexual Manifesto PDF. You're gonna find it. And if you read, it's exactly telling, we're gonna sodomize your children, we're gonna go into their locker rooms, we're gonna be in their schools. It tells you exactly what they have done. 1987, nothing new. Mm-hmm. 1987. So when I see people, they want radical change right now for the youth and everything, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Jesus didn't do it that way. The devil knows it doesn't work that way. The enemy knows it. It doesn't work that way. Since 1987, they had that plan, and probably before. They slowly wait. That's why I believe, yes, the key is prepare our elder leaders, make them aware, and for them to be involved with our youth. Because I can tell, if it wasn't for my pastor, it's really hard to find someone. I like this Caleb, this preacher said, if you want a happy life, be a holy man. But how can you learn something you don't see in your community? How can you? So it's not until I met my pastor that he really, really taught me the word, and it was a blessing for my marriage because it was falling apart from the beginning. I don't know how people that don't believe in God do it, honestly. So the enemy focused on children. He was patient, and he focused on discipleship. He used the resources to manipulate. The media is one. You could see it, but it's from everything. Today they're reading little books to children. They're taking time. So the point is, and I still don't see it in leaders today. They don't apply it. They just talk about the what, and look at the youth, how terrible it is. They don't believe in God. They don't believe in our values. They don't even like this country. Why is that? Because you didn't talk them to. You didn't show them why they need to love this country. So I believe we need to use that same method and be involved with the youth. But sadly, I don't see it in adults. It's from the smallest to the biggest, with money, with no money. I just don't see it. And I could see it as an example when I'm standing talking in front to one of them. They just don't do it to me. If they didn't do it to me, why would they do it to a younger one that's smoking pot and it's having fights, and it's keeping school? They want change, but they're not willing to invest $1 for a minute. When the enemy's been investing for years, and it keeps investing for years in them. You can see it on the LGBT agenda. They invest a lot of money on advertising. They invest a lot of money on their people, They believe deeply on what they are standing for. But we're not willing to spend a minute or $1 with young people. It breaks my heart. That's why God put in my heart, you know what? I'm not gonna wait for someone. I'm gonna try to make money. Because this youth, you can't just attract them now by saying, it's been so misused, the word God and Bible. Even they don't want it in the school. They say it's a religion. It's not a religion. That's the foundation of this country. That's why it's so great. Those values, it's there. It's that. People just don't want to say it.